Welcome, sports fans. Welcome, Sprint football fans. Welcome, Army Sprint football fans. We are at Shea Stadium here in West Point, New York, where the Army Black Knights are about to take the field. I am joined in the booth. My name is Mike Eisenhardt. I'm joined in the booth tonight with Cadet Ross Graham, a sophomore, or Yuck as we call it. Ross, great to be with you.
It's great to be here, Mike. It's a great night for football, a great senior night here at West Point. I'm excited to see what's going to happen tonight.
So the captains have taken the field, and the captains for tonight are number 55, Chance Pogue, number 70, Luke Melton, and it looks like Army will receive along with Captain Louis Petkus, who has taken the field. So Army will receive, and we will get rolling here shortly. We're going to go ahead and put the lineups on the screen for you here, which means Army's offense. So the starters for Army tonight on offense are Jack Van Til, Chance Pogue, Clay Earp, Luke Melton, Jacob Potter, Parker Williams, Carson McFadden, Kason Mackey, Kelton Okasik, J.P. Ross, Kyle West, Nicholas Cueto. Oh, those are the special teams. My apologies. And Kyle West. We're going to go ahead and pause the national anthem. And now we'll go ahead and get things rolling here. It is a pleasure to be with you. It is a crisp October 31st, a Halloween night here on West Point's campus. We are about to get things rolling with Army against Aquinas. Army rolls in with a unblemished record, I believe, 5-0, and Aquinas has had a bit of a struggle this season at 1-5. So we'll see how things shake out. Army's offense will take the field and get right to work. Ross, give us a little bit about the background of this team, what you've seen so far as sort of an aficionado of the squad, and what you're expected to see tonight.
That's great, Mike. I want to tell you, last week, Black Knights were victorious, and a key part there was running back Gabe Bolivar, another sophomore. He averaged nearly 11 yards per rush, and their defense gave up less than 1 yard per rush. So I'd like to expect to see that again tonight. See the backbone of this West Point offense led by J.P. Ross and running back Gabe Bolivar, and then their stout interior defensive line.
Those are some impressive stats. I mean, that's about as dominant as you can be.
Can't get much better than that.
So as the final seconds wind down on the clock and Army takes the field ready to receive, it's Aquinas who is ready to kick off. Go ahead and read off their defensive crew for the night. It'll be Ethan Brown, Mark Hector, Ibrahim Conti, Daniel Cruz III, Ethan Hentz, Armando Medley, Ryan Rush, Justin Wiggins, Prince Alvarado, Mike Martinez, Luigi Bondolillo, and Dylan Honan, the sophomore. Clock is set, and the referee has brought ball out.
The key thing about that defense, Mike, is number 6, their star linebacker, Brandon Jimenez, is out for this game. So another key that St. Thomas Aquinas is going to have to deal without tonight.
So we can feel the energy in the stadium. It's things are looking pretty good so far here. Weather was rough earlier in the day, tons of wind. I don't feel it as much now, but I sort of wonder if that'll come into play at all. Guys on the field look like they're trying to stay warm. It's that brisk fall air, and we're off. Ball is brought down, and it's picked up and brought to the left side of the screen. There's a little bit of space, but the tackle is made just beyond the 30.
That was Parker Williams, the leader of that wide receiver group. He had to battle a few injuries earlier in the season. It's great to have him back. Great to see him return that kick and give Kyle West now some great field position to start on this first drive of the night.
So with the 1st and 10, it'll be West at the helm, and we'll see what Army's offense looks like. They immediately show 3 receivers out to the right, and the lone back is Ross. Got a man in motion. And now the snap. Hand off to Ross. Couple of side steps and gains a few. Brings us out to about the 34, where we suspect the spot will be.
Mike, I mentioned that dynamic duo of Ross and Bolivar. Ross, you'll see run up the gun, up that A-gap all night. You'll get to see that a lot. He's very consistent, almost never stop behind the line.
Once again, it's West in the shotgun. Now the ball out. Little fake, looks downfield. Gets the first one, and the tackle is made. And that was number 13.
Jason Mackey on that exception right there. Low pass, able to get off just the catch just in time and pick up a first down. So good ball movement there by Mackey.
Army gets right to the line, brings it out. This is Ross. Once again through that A-gap, as you mentioned, and gains a few more. So 4 or 5 per carry here. And we've got a stoppage. We'll see what we've got. There is a flag on the field. We'll see what the call is. Call is against the defense. Motion looked to be face mask. Couldn't quite make it out. We're getting a 12 men on the field, so a administrative issue, and now we'll gain a few more. And Army gets to work. Once again, there's Ross, another flag on the field, gains a few. And we'll take a look and see if we can get it. That one was holding against Army, and so it'll come back. So the 10-yard penalty gives Army a 15-yard gain needed to get that first, and we've got first and 15.
We're getting to see Carson McFadden lining up at the inside back there as well.
Now the pitch out. Ross looks for space. Solid gain. Let's call that about 7 or 8. And now puts Army within striking distance on this second and about 6, 7. Offense is ready. And the look off. Pass in is completed. Well done. And that, I believe, is Mackey.
Right, that was Kaysen again. Now his second catch of the game. Another one that Kyle had to fit into a tight window. Kaysen's probably the best receiver on that team at getting a catch in a tight window. So good job there. 2 catches now already for Kaysen.
Army back to work, marching down the field. Once again, they show, and it's Ross who's going to look to get a bit on the outside, maybe catch an edge. And a first tackle is made.
It's been fun to see Coach West now 3, maybe 4 outside runs with JP to start the game. Usually you don't see that as much, so it must be a game plan they came into this with. So it's fun to see JP running all over the field.
Aquinas holds the set. Now the call. The look off. The pass is on. Down the field they look, and the catch is made. That was Parker Williams who pulled it down. Very close to about the 5-yard line. which will put them at 1st and goal and a very good opportunity to score.
They like to go fast here.
They look, it's Ross, sees daylight, shoulders are down, and the arms are up, so that's going to be 7 for the Army Black Knights. Or, excuse me, 5 for the Army Black Knights.
+6 on the scoreboard. That's the West Point specialty right there. Quick pass, quick run, quick pass, quick run. Don't let the defense set. Now we get to see Nick Cueto come out for his first PAT. But that's exactly how Coach West draws up his offensive game plan. It receive the ball first, success on the ground, success in the air, 6 points. And now we get to see Nick kick his first PAT.
And like clockwork, the extra is added, bringing the score to 7-0. So Army has to feel real good about that drive. 1 penalty, I'm sure, nobody wants the holding penalty, but that didn't seem to stop them. They came out and just continued to barrel down the field. But the big strike down the middle to Parker Williams.
Definitely. It's very fortunate for the Black Knights offense to be so skilled both in the air and on the ground, where they're not limited by penalties. Teams that are reliant heavily on running games are hurt a lot when they have penalties. So good job there, Kyle, adapting to that with a pass to Case and a pass to Parker. So now we'll get to see, it's going to be Nick Cueto coming out for this kickoff. A lot of times you see Alex Perrine up there. They trade off duties, but it'll be Nick for this first kickoff of this night.
And so as we wait for the kickoff, we will show you and read the Army defensive starters. Number 11, Cameron Allen. Number 93, Jake Oxendine. Number 94, Tyrus Carter. 99, Thomas Golio. Number 3, Zion Sims. Number 8, DeAndre Brunings. Number 36, Louis Petkis, the captain. Number 14, Drew Waldron. Number 23, Trey Batson. Number 25, J.C. Romo. And number 31, Mason Berriolds. Kick is off, and it's deep. It's fielded, and it's brought out by the number 3 from Aquinas, who looks to get an edge and is driven out of bounds. So after a few by Washington, the Aquinas offense will take the field. They are led by quarterback Tenez Harp. Also, number 25, Damari Hamilton. Number 10, Jaden Wilhite. Number 13, Aaron Cruz. Eric Neal Jr., 11, Nicholas Simonetta, number 1, Leo Burns, Dyson Augustin, Reese Manera, McKeel Renaud, and Joshua Hums. So with 1st and 10, Aquinas takes the field. So we'll see if Army can be as stingy as they were last game based on what you described, and this will be their first opportunity. The run is in. Looks like the interior line was up for the challenge and maybe a couple of yards gained before the defensive line collapses.
Those interior tackles, Ox and Tyrus, are the 2 strong points of that defensive line. You'll see them as great run stoppers, but also sacking the quarterback throughout the night. So those 2 names right there, Oxendine and Tyrus Carter, you'll see all night.
Aquinas shows pass. Quarterback steps into the pocket, but is immediately met by contact and looks to have lost a few on the play.
As if on cue, leading that sack there, 94, like I just mentioned. Those star defensive linemen there. Tyrus Carter was the first guy there on that time. Now, St. Thomas Aquinas and Coach Matthew Berry are going to want to avoid 3rd and long behind the chains. It's going to be difficult against this elite defensive pass rush for the Black Knights to try to convert on this now long 3rd down.
So we've got 3rd and 11. Aquinas going to have to come up with something, pinned deep in their own territory. We'll see if Harp, the sophomore, can find some space. Send a man in motion. Looks to be an option. Thrown forward and
fumble
recovered by Army. Let's see if that's ruled a pass or a fumble. Referees have yet to decide. It looks like it's going to be 4th down, that's going to be considered a forward pass, and so no fumble, but Aquinas will be forced into a punt situation.
Very, very fortunate there for Coach Matthew Berry calling that one an incomplete pass. The Black Knights would have gotten it within the 10-yard line. Now we'll get to see the first Black Knight punt return. Number 22 freshman Merrick Arbogast there to return this, sitting at the midfield logo there. Incredibly speedy. So if I'm St. Thomas Aquinas, I don't give this ball directly into the hands of Merrick. We'll see what happens.
So Arbogast, a local guy from Highland Falls, New York. Now the ball's up. Drops back for it. It's fielded. Dropped and then recovered. And now Arbogast looked for some space. Slips through one and then is brought down by a group from Aquinas. So bringing the ball out to about the 37. And Army's offense will get back to work.
It's always good for your offense when you can start on the plus 41-yard line of your opponent. Like I said, it's senior night, so we get to highlight the seniors all night, but that offensive line, another strong suit of that offense. Left to right, we have Van Til, Pogue, Earp, Milton, and Potter. Stars that don't often get a lot of recognition, but a crucial part of the backbone of this offense.
Where the work is done.
Exactly.
West looks to hand off. This is number 7, Bolivar, who you mentioned coming through and gaining several. Let's call it 8 or 9.
Okay, Bolivar, last week's CSFL Offensive Player of the Week with nearly 200 yards on the ground. So his explosiveness is unparalleled anywhere else on this offense. So he'll get the ball all throughout the night.
So Coach West has to feel good about the weapons he's bringing on offense. And now shows pass to the corner. It is caught. Oh, but it is dropped in contact. And so that one's going to be an incomplete pass. Looked to be held, but was dropped. And I think that was also Parker Williams.
Yes, he had a spot there, certainly on the defense. The ball just floated up a little bit too high. He had to wait slightly too long to be able to catch that ball. It was perfectly placed, just a little bit late. The defense was able to recover there.
Now the handoff to Bolivar. Flag is on the field. We'll see what the call is. Came from a position where it might be holding, and that's the initial sign. So after a long 9-yard gain, Army's going to get pushed back, and we're going to have 3rd and 6. Oh, a 10-yard penalty. Excuse me. Which is going to make it 3rd and 11.
I would consider this 4-down territory, Mike, meaning you got 2 plays here to pick up this first down. It's too close to punt, too long to kick a field goal. So when Coach West is telling his offensive coordinator, say, hey, yes, it's 11 yards, but don't forget you got 2 plays here.
Bolivar, the lone back. Look downfield. It's tipped by the Aquinas defender, and so pass is incomplete. That was number 85, Mike Martinez, the freshman, breaking up the pass attempt. And so the special teams will come onto the field and Army will show punt.
We'll get to see the first kick of the night here. Alex Perrine, the junior punter, try to pin this ball deep into the territory of St. Thomas Aquinas.
There's the short attempt. Takes favorable bounce for Army and moves lateral across the field, and they pin him down at around the 10-yard line. 15-yard line.
Every time Alex goes out there, he's told, okay, I want you to kick it left, I want you to kick it right, I want to kick it high, I want you to kick it low. But there's only so much you can do to control the wind and where it's going to bounce and all those things. So that took a very lateral bounce, very successful, but I know he would have liked that to roll a few more yards in the negative direction for the Aquinas, but nonetheless, tough field position to start their offense.
So Aquinas gets back to work. Harp drops the pass, looks downfield, but again is absolutely smothered. Now makes his way to the outside. and throws an incomplete pass. You can really see Army just coming through the space and sort of owning that trench space by those front linemen that you talked about.
Totally. That was Lou Petkus, their captain, on that coverage. Quarterback just had to get out of the pocket and throw it away to the closest receiver, but Lou was all over that. No one really competitive for that catch. Like you said, that pass rush is so strong. He doesn't have much time to get a pass off.
So once again, it's Harp. Man in motion for Aquinas. Now they look to the running back. Smothered again with a very little, if any, gain. Looks to have been maybe a yard gained, and we're showing 3rd and 9.
Another 3rd down and long for St. Thomas Aquinas. They're going to want to convert here to stay ahead of the chains and not give the ball right back to Kyle West.
Aquinas empties the backfield, hits the slant over the middle, gains a few, and will be close to the 1st down. And looks like they've got their first of the night. So march the sticks, and they'll get back to work.
Tynes Harp did a great job there finding the soft coverage on the inside slant route of that Black Knight secondary. They had a tough spot there. That was linebacker senior Zion Sims on that coverage, having to kind of play a rover there. Good job there by Harp finding that completion for a 1st down.
Harp looks to take it himself, trying to find some space, but the pursuit by Army is just too much, overwhelming, and he's going to lose about 3 on the play.
That was the aforementioned Zion Sims, the senior, who on that first one down there with a host of Black Knights to clean up that play for a loss of a few yards there. 2nd down and 12 now. Really important. Coach Barry does not want this offense falling behind the chains continuously. So whatever they can do to pick up a reasonable chunk of yards each play is going to be critical for their offensive success tonight.
A little over 6 left to play. This is an important 2nd down. Run is on. Once again, Army there in numbers. And a few yards gained by Aquinas.
Moderate gain there. Still going to bring up about 3rd down and 9 now. A situation that they were just in where they found that inside slant route.
So with 3rd and 8, Aquinas lines up, and it's Harp once again with a lone back. And now the pitch. Mishandled, picked back up, but not regathered before dropped for a loss. And so it'll now be 4th and long.
Another very fortunate recovery there. That was Washington, their running back, able to pick that ball back up. That one was a backward lateral and was a fumble. So good job by Washington, able to pick that one up. But yet another 4th down. Merrick Arbogast has a chance for a good recovery here, standing really close to midfield once again.
Punt is up. It's a low liner, and so Arbogast just backs off. Aquinas able to touch it down. So Army will take over at the 36, and their offense will get back to work.
One of the strategy games the coaches sort of play here is not only are you trying to gain 1st downs and gains points, but you're trying to play field position. So when the Black Knight defense is able to hold you within your own 20 or 30 yard line every drive, you really don't have much of a chance to stop the Black Knight offense when they keep getting good field position once again.
So it's Ross in the backfield once again with West, and takes the ball. This time Aquinas looked to be in better position, and no appreciable gain on that play.
It's been a lot of runs by JP through that left outside of their left tackle there. Good awareness by the defense, starting to pick that cue up. I expect to see a few shifts and changes now with this running game.
McFadden lines up in the slot with Mackey on the left side. Now he's in motion. And West rolls to the right. Looks down the field. Has Williams on a big gain, who stays on its feet and continues to churn on, gain a few more. Slips the first tackle, and that's Parker Williams for another big gain.
Another big gain for your offensive leader right there, Parker. Able to bounce off the weak tackler the first time, stay in bounds. Good awareness and good footwork to not go out of bounds. Able to pick up a first down now on the plus side of the field.
So Army lines up on the 41. And Aquinas shows pressure. Here comes the blitz. The flag is on the play. West rolling and just decides to duck out of bounds. Let's see what the call is.
Looks like it's probably going to come back against the Black Knights. But it's fun to see Kyle West scramble there. We don't see that a whole lot, but he is very quick. He can run when he needs to, but frankly, their offensive weapons are so good, he doesn't really need to. And he doesn't want to get hurt, so that's a good problem to have. You're right.
So Army will get marched back on the call.
Oh.
It is once again a holding call.
Looks like maybe a legal procedure. I'm not sure if Carson was set there when they snapped it. Don't know if he had two men in motion or not there, so it's only a 5-yard penalty. Now 1st and 15.
Now the man in motion comes through. Quick pass. It's handled by Mackey, who finds some space, still on his feet, and gains several. Now a late flag comes down, and we'll see what that call is. This again looks to have been against Army.
Regardless of the outcome of this penalty, it's fun to see screen plays by the Black Knight offense. Sprint football is unique. Everyone's under 178 pounds, so your offensive linemen are generally nearly as quick as your receivers. So those screen plays are much more fun, in my opinion, than big football teams where they're not able to keep up with the receivers. But yes, it's going to be a holding called back against the Black Knights. But screen plays are always exciting when you see 3 or 4 linemen up with the receivers 20 yards downfield.
It's a fair point. If you don't watch a lot of sprint football, it's a real good point. So West gets back to work. And they'll look to get a large gain here on first. Looking down the field, sees one. The catch is made.
Kaysen there again. He's had some tough catches. Nothing's been handed it to him easily tonight. Big hit as soon as he caught the ball, but good job holding on to it. Now bringing up a second and much more manageable 8 yards.
Army once again up to the line quick. And now off to Ross. Gets his shoulders square and gains another few. Making it about 3rd and maybe 3.
I'd love to see some sort of run pass option here, some RPO. See how the defense lines up. Whether you hand it to JP, you get a quick slant, maybe on the inside to Kaysen.
It's McFadden in motion. Now it's Ross. Going to be very close depending on the spot. That looks a little short, so 4th and 1.
Jumbo package. Tush push version.
There it is. And the signals from the sideline suggest the first is made, and there go the sticks. And so Army able to get the first down.
Isn't it fun to see teams employing that tush push the Philadelphia Eagles so famously invented?
3 receivers on the right, but it's Ross who comes around, finds the corner, and is able to gain a few. It's a long gain of about 9.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
2nd and 1 From the 21, it'll be Army looking to continue to march down the field. Once again, Ross, but this time Aquinas there to make the stop. And so it'll be third and very short, half a yard. Bolivar enters the game. And a critical third down for St. Thomas Aquinas. It's Bolivar who finds the first and more and is able to get that first down. So Army now in real good position, again, looking to get ready to strike at about the 10. So first and goal on the 10. So that's the end of the first quarter. Army leads 7-0. And we'll take a quick break here to just talk about the seniors. So let's talk about that. It's senior night. Several of the seniors here at Army West Point. We'll just sort of give a little shout out where we see them. Number 2, Stephen Craig. Number 3, Zion Sims. Number 8, DeAndre Brunings. Number 36, the captain, Louis Petkus. Additional seniors. Got Chance Pogue, 55. Clay Earp, 61. Luke Melton, 70. And that may be it.
I believe so, Mike. It's really cool. There's not a whole lot of seniors that you normally are used to seeing on this sprint football team. So with that, you have a bond among the leaders on this team that's maybe even more tight-knit than usual. So it's fun to see. It's been fun to watch all season since even July. The seniors on this team lead the underclass and leave the legacy of leadership that they want to have here because, like you know, all these people are about to become second lieutenants. It's not just about the football game, so it's fun to see those seniors lead and celebrate them here tonight on senior night at Shea Stadium.
So first and goal. West looks off, goes to the corner, and that one's going to be a little long. So it'll be second and goal as number 60 enters the game. That's Dylan Rocky, the junior from Fort Belvoir, Virginia.
A little bit of a miscommunication on that last route with Parker. Parker ran a little bit more inside. Kyle's expecting to go a little bit more outside. Needless to say, second and goal now from the 10.
Now the handoff. Big athletic effort by Bolivar and brings it into about the 4.
I love seeing Rocky come in and play kind of like a fullback position there, getting an extra blocker for Gabe as Gabe's able to bring it down to the 4-yard line now. Love to see Gabe push this ball in. A guy who had 2 rushing touchdowns a week ago. It'd be fun to see him pick another one up here at home.
So 3rd and 4, Army looking to score. And there it is, Bolivar, who drives, is close. No signal yet, looks to be just short the spot.
You're going to call it 4th and goal from about the 0.25 yard line there.
It's about as close as you can get, not get it. So now we'll see if Army can drive it in on 4th down. Offensive line fires out. It's West who carries it over, and the arms are up. So that will put another 6 on the board for Army, bringing the score up to 13. With 13:44 left to play here in the first half.
It's been a very successful first half in the game plan of West Point. You know, ultimately in the season, everyone at Army wants to beat those Annapolis Naval Academy midshipmen. So it's good to see a mixture of the passing game and the running game tonight. because when they go on November 15th and host Navy, both teams will be looking to vie for the championship there. It'll be good and important for us, the Black Knights, to have offensive success on both the air and the ground attack.
Nick Cueto winds up and gives us the 14th point. And so far, all things are go for Army. Aquinas going to have to see if they can come up with an answer here. They've had some struggles on offense and haven't really gotten the ball into a real scoring threat, but we'll see if this is their moment. Army kickoff takes the field.
St. Thomas Aquinas has had some success passing the ball. However, a lot of times they've been getting themselves behind the chains early on, and then the defensive pass rush is too powerful for them to have time to get a pass off. So I'd love to see maybe some quick passes, maybe a screen route early on first down. They've been running a lot on first and been stopped behind the line. So I'd love to see some more soft coverage passes here for the Aquinas offense.
It's Rashawn Tugwell and Trevon Washington deep for Aquinas. And Cueto looks to line up for the kick. Drives it to Washington, who fields, and now looks to get toward the center of the field. Spins away, but the tackle is made. And Aquinas will take over just shy of the 20-yard line.
Washington got wrapped up there a little bit. Wanted a face mask call, nothing there. You know, it's interesting. That ball, had he not fielded it, was easily going out of bounds. Would have gotten better field position, though. But the decision to return there did not quite pay off for Washington. Still better field position than Aquinas has been used to, though. 21-yard line to start, a pretty modest place to start compared to being deep within your own field.
And here's the snap. Looks to the right side. Pass is complete. And driven out of bounds. So the heart pass is complete and gains about 8, maybe 9.
Trey Batson forced the pass out of bounds, but that's exactly what I was talking about. The soft coverage passes, pick up, doesn't have to be anything glamorous, nothing beautiful, no crazy offensive schemes. But now you have a very short and manageable play here on second down.
Harp hands off, and that one looks to have possibly gained the first before he lost the forward motion. We'll see if what the call is, where the spot is. The spot on the far end of the field looks to be close to a first down.
We ran right into the arms of Golio, that nose guard there for the Black Knights.
So the first down is not made. It is now 3rd and 1. Well done there by the Army tacklers. That was Honan on the carry. Once again, this time looks to have gotten it.
Looks like that was Dre Brunings, the first guy there, stopping him, tackling him behind, but the forward momentum is able to carry him forward. That was that linebacker getting a stop there, but looks like they're going to give him the first down here. Or are they going to call him just short?
Looks like just short. Wow. It looked from here that he got the first to me as well, but the spot is shy of the first down, and so it's 4th and 1. And the timeout is called by Aquinas. Army getting loud on the sideline, waiting for that 4th down, and Aquinas elects to take a second and talk it over.
And as lopsided as this game has seemed, it's only a 2-touchdown game, so St. Thomas Aquinas is by no means out of this game, so picking up this 4th down here would be huge. So it's an understandable timeout by Coach Barry on the 30-yard line. It's always gutsy to go for it. But when you have quite literally a few feet to go, I don't blame him. Especially when you know how powerful that Black Knight offensive attack is.
Yeah, trying to maybe get the momentum on your side. You know, get a big 4th and 1 over, get that first down, get a little energy, inject a little energy into your squad.
And even just crossing that midfield stripe would be a success of an offensive drive St. Thomas Aquinas hasn't really had yet tonight through the first quarter and change. So it'd be very big here. It's interesting to see what they're going to call here. I know the Black Knight defense will be expecting a stop on a short run. They have their 3 big linemen there, Carter, Oxidine, and Golio, going to shore up that interior D-line. So it'll be interesting to see what Coach Barry, the head coach for Aquinas, calls here.
So 4th and 1, Aquinas comes back onto the field. And it's Harp under center. Looks like they're going to try to jam it forward. And it goes forward, but Army is real close. Army says not happening. We'll wait for the official call.
It looked like it was good initially, then it came back a little bit. So it's really going to depend on what they call forward progress here. And they're going to give him a first down.
Into the hands of the referee. And they signal first down. They got the inch they needed. And so the drive stays alive for Aquinas. Once again, it's Harp and Honan in the back. And that is a flag on the field. Looks like a procedure call against Aquinas. So the call is a false start just about when Aaron Cruz, the number 13, went in motion. So did not quite pick up exactly what happened or who maybe flinched, but that's going to push them back another 5.
Having receivers in motion, Mike, is so challenging for a quarterback. Something not a lot of people appreciate. You have to watch when your team is set, who's moving, when they're moving, how many people are moving, where they're supposed to be moving. It's a challenge because the quarterback wants to go. They want to watch the field. They want to watch the defense. They have to make sure their offense is set, though, as well.
Now Harp out to the left. And, tipped, but not able to be pulled in by the captain.
Luke Peck is there. Almost able to get that catch. Good tip there. Cameron Allen, I believe, number 11, was able to tip that pass. Now it's 2nd and long following that procedure penalty. This is exactly where St. Thomas Aquinas, quite frankly, does not want to be. It'd be very critical for them to pick up some yards here.
Harp's ready. And the ball comes back. Big blitz and screen. So they hope they set up the screen. This is 11, who finds a few, but not nearly what he needed.
J.C. Romo tripping him up from behind. That was great misdirection there. Originally, that screen pass went absolutely nowhere. I know all of practice this week, the Black Knight defense prepared for that play exactly. Good job bouncing out to the outside, had green grass in front of him. But JC able to trip him up and prevent what could have been a really big gain.
That was Eric Neal Jr. on the catch, who gained 3 or 4, but not able to make a real dent in the yards needed. So it's 3rd and 12. Harp looks to take it himself and gets back to the original line of scrimmage or thereabout, but that's going to make it 4th and 10 or 4th and 11.
I believe that was Ox on that tackle. That was a little speed option we don't see a whole lot from a lot of teams in the CSFL. Interesting play call for a long 3rd down, but unsuccessful. Now we'll see Merrick Arbogast come back to return another punt. Just
So
about blocked there.
The kick is up from 21, Gusty. And once again, Arbogast decides to let it settle and Army will take over on downs.
We talked about that offensive line, what they call the dirt pigs at West Point. We talked about that, them being the backbone of number 70, it was captain earlier, Luke Milton. He's what they call the PGL, the position group leader for that offense. And then their center, 55, Chance Pogue, their overall offensive team captain. So those two guys there, especially leaders on this offense, that make this team run so well.
Army back to work. Fine Bolivar on the handoff. He's still on his feet looking for some space. Gains a couple, a strong runner, able to sort of churn out some meters there, some yards after contact, making it 2nd and about 7.
Strong is absolutely right. He's probably the strongest man on that field, if I had to guess. I took a PE class with him last year that couldn't see a weight he couldn't lift.
Now it's West out. Finds the receiver. That was McFadden, who should have gained the first down, and the sticks move.
I love it to see the connection between Cal West and Carson McFadden every time. Carson was the backup quarterback a year ago, had some shoulder complications and switch, and now he's thrived all year as a wide receiver. So it's always fun to see those two on a connection.
Now to the other side of the field. Good step there. And that's Merrick Arbogast, who gains another 6.
We've talked about their offensive weapons. Each one is unique. Merrick's probably the shiftiest, most elusive playmaker they have on that offense, as you just saw there. Able to gain another 4 yards just off one juke move alone.
So the official mark makes it 2nd and 5. Aquinas shows blitz on the right side. They come across. West reads it and looks down the field. Good attempt there by Arbogast out into the side, but could not come back and make the play. So it'll be 3rd and 5.
That pass was a little bit underthrown by Kyle, but Merrick tried to do a good job there. What they teach you is if that pass is underthrown, the receiver has to go make a play on it, and almost every time they're going to call a defensive pass interference, which respectfully for the defense is not really their fault, but the receivers are trained that way. Didn't really work out in their favor, but a little bit too underthrown for that strategy to work here.
3rd and 5 as the wind picks up. This one's picked, and that is number 36 on Aquinas, who makes the pick, Kevon Ward. So Aquinas will take over on downs, a big play for them, and they will try to get back to work in really probably their best offensive territory all night.
I think it is, Mike. This is a momentum shifter for their St. Thomas Aquinas in their favor. Pick up 1 first down, you're already in the Army side of the field. That's going to be big, Coach Barry, but want to capitalize here. Expect to see some more screen routes, some more quick passes, maybe even some more of those speed options they were running last drive.
Harp sets up with Hamilton in the backfield, who goes in motion. There's that screen you're talking about. It is Hamilton who is not able to pull it in, and so the pass is incomplete.
Black Knights brought a lot of rushers there, more than usual, loaded the box there. Quick pass was absolutely necessary. Receiver started running just a little bit too quickly, though, so able to pick up the ball and successfully, but Brunings was right there to make that stop regardless. 2nd down and 10. Again, Aquinas is very much going to want to capitalize on this turnover from the last drive.
So with 7:14 left in the half, it looks like Aquinas will take their 2nd time out. So possibly a little confusion there on the play call. Play clock running down, and Aquinas is going to have to pause and regroup. It's an important drive for them. Certainly want to try to get on the board here in this first half. And of course, Army will try to stifle it.
Exactly. These two teams all time are 6-0, Army in favor of Aquinas. dating all the way back to 2018. And a year ago, Kyle threw over 300 yards and 6 touchdown passes. So it's been fun to see the difference here. It's obviously been a slower paced offense, primarily on the ground, which, like I mentioned, they're so successful at both. Usually they're characterized by quick passes and running up the scoreboard. So it's fun to see them running the game a lot, which will be very critical for their game on the 15th of November against Annapolis.
And once again, a whistle. The officials are going to get some items straight, and now they look to be back in position, and we're back. Harp and Honan in the backfield. Harp shows pass, looks down the field, but winds up rolling right. Looking, it's through the hands of the intended receiver. That was number 1, Simonetta.
Pass a little bit too hard, a little bit outside. Pass hits Simonetta in both of his hands, just unable to complete it. Now, after that turnover, they still have net 0 offensive yards. Something they're definitely going to want to capitalize here. But a long third down waiting for them.
So Army's defense will work hard to stiffen here and try to keep the Aquinas from entering their half of the field. This play could determine it. Harp once again rolls to the right, now looks over the top. Simonetta pulls it in this time. Looked to be short of the first down. We'll see where the spot is. And Petkus able to make the tackle. And it looks like we've got about 4th and 1. Apologies, 4th and 1. So just about at the 50. The official scoreboard shows at the 49, so Aquinas has now entered Army's territory for the first time of the night. Another 4th and 1 situation, big situation. This time, the handoff to Honan is absolutely swamped, and Army feels real good about that. Looks like they'll take over and send their offense back onto the field.
I think Dre Brunings was the first guy there. Again, such a speedy linebacker that's able to get behind the line and hit the running back before he even reaches the line of scrimmage. Able to get a turnover on downs there. So with what was huge momentum for St. Thomas Aquinas, ended up resulting in 9 yards, and now Kyle West comes back out with J.P. Ross at his side for another offensive drive.
There's the handoff to Ross, who finds his little space, caught up just over 6-7 yards and falls forward for another. So gonna have about a 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3. Army at the line quickly. Once again, it's Ross. This time gets the first down. And the spot will be at about the 36.
Gabe's going to check in for this next play. They are totally content not to be in the hurriest of offense as they usually are. The ground game is generally giving them 8 yards a carry at least. There's no reason to go away from it.
Quick pass to the outside.
I believe that was Okasik on that reception.
That was Okasik, who gains another 4.
Fellow 1st Regiment buddy with me, 2nd Battalion. A receiver not talked a lot about on this offense too much, but equally as gifted and a weapon for Kyle as all these other guys on the team.
There's a handoff to Bolivar, has a little space, gets back to the inside, big contact at the 20, and gains another 2 after contact. Solid run by Gabe Bolivar.
Mike, you know you can give credit to your Dirt Pigs offensive lineman when your running back doesn't even make contact until he's over 10 yards down the field.
Yeah, absolutely. A parting of the sea there in that hole. So big throw down the field. That is number 9 on the touchdown. Parker Williams was just left alone, just left completely alone and sort of walked himself in. So good read by West to see Williams by himself.
I love that play design. Carson ran a quick stop route. Both defenders jumped on it, and Parker was wide open, and then the safety several yards away had to try to catch up at the last second. But beautiful play design there. But the Black Knight offense, Parker really doesn't get much more open than that.
Hold is down, and Cueto makes it 21. So with 4:14 left in the half, Army showed some potency on that drive. Kind of came out and had things their way.
They did. Their offense has been so successful on the ground game. It's understandable their secondary is going to be much closer to the box. They load up in on there, which is what makes something like a flea flicker so deadly, is once you get your successful ground game going, even the big team Black Knight offense is so good at this. They're so good on the ground. The secondary has no choice but to start loading the box with 8 or more players. And when that happens, like we just saw, the defense is going to be more prone to go to those stop routes, to stay over top the receivers. And that's what makes Parker wide open on that last touchdown reception.
The stats certainly speak to what you're saying. When I'm looking at the stats, the Army stats on rushing first downs and touchdowns look pretty dominant. So real good work, and that, of course, opens up everything else. Ball fielded, and out to the 20, and then the 25 is Aquinas, but not before number 39, Anthony Paradiso, the freshman, makes a stop.
It's always fun to see the freshmen get their tackle. Sometimes it's the first of the season, but I tell you, those special teams warriors work hard. Just because they're maybe the backups on offense doesn't mean that special teams is any easier. That's a tough, special teams coverage is tough. Kickoff coverage is tough. So credit the freshmen there. Big hit there. Prevent a successful return.
So Tugwell gets Aquinas out to the 25, where Harp will take over and try to command this offense down the field. Show a man in motion, and once again, the flag is thrown. Looks to be another procedure call against Aquinas.
It is. Coaches hate pre-snap penalties because you're really shooting yourself in the foot. You're putting yourself now back behind schedule, 1st and 15, when you haven't even gotten a snap off this drive. And during the play, penalties are much more coachable, much more tactical strategy-wise, but pre-snap penalties are really just discipline, attention to detail, and that drives coaches absolutely crazy because now you have a 1st and 15 on your own 20.
So once again, Aquinas finds himself in a hole, and now look to roll right to get out of it. Sets up, there's the pass, it's caught. Big stick by number 3, Zion Sims. Simonetta on the carry, on the catch and carry, but Sims absolutely right there to drive through and limit it to about a 4-yard gain. It's going to make it 2nd and 11 for Aquinas. Aquinas shows Hamilton in the backfield. Swamped the pass out to the flat. Looked for Simonetta, but all intentions were that he was under some real pressure there and just had to get rid of it.
That was Golio, the first guy there. Just about got the sack. Harp was just barely able to get that pass off. Now, 3rd down behind the chains, and 3rd down and 11. We'll see what the play call is here. Try to get a conversion with 3 minutes to go. You really don't want to give the Black Knights the ball back. You really want to capitalize on this opportunity. You are getting the ball to start the half, so this is a big play here for Aquinas.
Aquinas shows both Hamilton and Honan in the back. Now the ball is up. It is caught by number 10, Jaden Wilhite. And so Aquinas will move the sticks. They are able to capitalize.
It's probably their biggest offensive play, I'd say, maybe of the night, but Trey Batson, that wasn't even bad coverage. It was just a great athletic play by the receiver, and Harp was under huge duress there.
Yeah, it looked to me like just kind of threw it up, and Wilhite made a real athletic play. So hats off for that. The receiver worked real hard and got it, and Aquinas will take the ball at the 45. Once again, looking down the field, tries to isolate again. It's Wilhite again. This time, the coverage is too tight. And that could have been Batson again. He was able to get his hand up there and break it up.
Wasn't going to get fooled twice there on that back-to-back play. Good job there by Trey. Aquinas is now at their best field position of the night. You have 2.5 minutes and a timeout in your pocket. We'll look to see what Coach Barry can draw up here.
Once again, 2 in the backfield with Harp. And the handoff is to 25. That's Hamilton. About a yard gained, making it 3rd and 9.
Third down and 10 here. I would not be surprised, though, if we see a 4th down attempt here as well as we get to our 2-minute timeout left in this first half.
So Aquinas able to run the clock to the 2-minute, get a chance to regroup here. They are in their best offensive attacking position all night. Army gave up one big play, and that was what put them here. And we'll see what they can scheme. Be interesting. So if you are Aquinas, what do you think their best shot is here?
I love that thought because this is what I'm thinking. I'm about to get the ball back right after half. There's 2 minutes, and I know how prolific Kyle West and his offense is. So I'm not even going to shoot for a first down necessarily on this play. I want a quick slant or a bubble route or a quick stop here. Something to keep the clock running, but to put yourself in a position for a conversion or a 4th down and manageable here. But you really don't want to give the Black Knights the ball again.
So a big 3rd and 9 with 2 minutes on the clock. We'll see if Coach Graham here in the booth calls the right play. Harp sets. And now looks under big pressure. That one's thrown away. And ruled an incomplete pass. A little bit of a conference of the men in stripes, but it's going to be 4th and 9.
That's always the ace that you can't plan for necessarily. I mean, you knew defensive coordinator Coach Sessa was going to bring crazy pressure there, but that's why you needed a very quick pass. You couldn't wait for something to develop. And now it looks like they might be calling.
Yeah, maybe an intentional ground there.
Grounding.
Yeah, the flag came late. There was really no receiver in the vicinity, and that is the call.
Now you really don't have a chance but to punt this ball away, I think.
So big pressure by the Black Knights forces the penalty because Harp just wanted to get rid of it. So it's going to be 4th and a lot for Aquinas. And all indications would be that Kyle West will get a chance with that prolific offense to run the 2-minute offense and see if they can put one more on the board. It's 21, Carl Augusti back for the punt. And 22, Arbogast to receive. It's a low kick, bounces, and once again, Arbogast will not be able to field. Body language from Arbogast looked to be frustrated. It says, just kick me one. But Aquinas, smartly by the sounds of it, just keeping the ball away and making sure that they can't get a clean run on it.
I mean, you're a freshman with adrenaline pumping and you're quick. You want that ball. No one wants to see a down punt as a punt returner, but a lot of times also that those coaches will tell you ahead of time, hey, Merrick, listen, I need you to down this no matter what happens. I need you to call a fair catch here. It's too high of a risk. But you're right. It's always fun when you can get a return.
So it's Ross in the backfield with West, but West looks down and unfortunately not able to pull it in is Ross, and so covers it up. And that one was an incomplete pass. 1st and 10, or 2nd and 10, Army at the 25.
Some of JP's most success this season on the offense has been in the passing game, more so than I'd say Gabe has. So that's a threat Aquinas has to account for as well. Those wheel routes, those Texas routes, those hitches by JP out of the running back slot.
Looking down the field, that's McFadden who pulls it in, slips one and is pushed out of bounds. Steps out to stop the clock as the chains move. Offense is ready to go, and once again, West looks down the field. Plenty of time and finds McFadden again over the middle.
Carson's one of my good friends on the team. I'm convinced when you have a prior QB relationship there, there's an even better connection. You think how they think. You know where the open spots are going to be and where you can get a reception.
Once again, West steps up, looking, decides to tuck it away, and is able to get the first down.
Smart slide there now as Coach West calls his first time out of the half. We haven't seen a Nick Cueto field goal yet tonight, but he has a monster leg. I was helping him warm up before the game, drilling nearly a 50-yard field goal. The wind has pretty much died down. I know they don't want to settle for that, but they're not far off from Nick's range either.
50 plus, that's impressive.
As you can see, Coach West talking to Nick right now, actually on the sideline, saying, hey, what's comfortable for you? What side of the hash do you like? That's something people have to consider a lot as well. Where do you feel the most comfortable? Where's the wind affecting here? But obviously, no offensive coach wants to settle for a field goal, but it's good to keep in mind.
So with a minute to play in the half, Army 21, St. Augustine's 0. It's a 1st and 10 on the 47. St. Aquinas. St. Thomas Aquinas, not Augustine. Apologies to those at home. Got my St. A's mixed up there. Ross looking. West is looking. Still has Ross. Now finds Williams, who gets the ball to the 25.
Great last-second effort to dive out of bounds by Parker to stop the clock. Parker was waving his hands up and down. Kyle was evading the pressure, able to now get down to the 25-yard line.
Rolls out to the side. That one not where he wanted it. A little bit low and unable to field was Mackey.
Defensive pressure was very tight on that play. It would have been a stop immediately, maybe even in bounds. So it's possible, it's actually fortunate for the Black Knights to have that one fall incomplete.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 on the 25 with 41 seconds to play in the half. Once again, West looks down the field, comes out to the right, tucks it away, and steps out of bounds.
Good job, Jake Potter, right tackle, getting 2 downfield blocks, not giving up on the play as Kyle scrambles to give his quarterback more time to avoid the rush.
So with 33 left in the half, it's 3rd and 3 on the 18. So Army will look to get the first down here, if not strike it completely. And certainly, based on what you said, well within Cueto's range. There's the catch. That's Ross at the 10, 5, and into the corner is the touchdown.
JP Ross is so lethal as a dual threat runner and receiver, as we see there. First touchdown reception there for JP. Second pass by Kyle tonight.
So it took him about 1:32 to take over and get one more. And now they'll look to add the extra and get to 28. 2-minute drill looked pretty good.
Absolutely. I know they practice that all the time. It's the bread and butter of an offense for a quarterback to be able to go out, execute a touchdown drive in 90 seconds.
Kick is up, and it's good. So with 28 on the board and 23 seconds left to play, Army will kick back to Aquinas.
We'll see how aggressive Aquinas wants to be. Might just put one knee down and go to half as they get the ball here. To start the second half, we'll see what happens. How Coach Barry wants to approach this kickoff. I expect Nick Cueto is not going to give this ball in too easy a position to be the threat of a deep return, but we'll see what happens.
Once again, looks to be Tugwell and Hamilton, or excuse me, Washington back. Announcer says Harvey. Did not catch that number. Cueto lines up. And we'll see exactly what strategy is in play. Drives it toward Harvey. Takes a bounce. Now it's fielded. Slips the first one, but is met by several Army defenders, led by Aiden Lassard, number 46.
Probably see one knee or one run on this play, then go to half. It's been a beautiful start to Coach West's offense on this Halloween senior night home game as they look to extend to 6-0 on the season.
Harp takes a knee, and the clock continues to tick, and that should do it for the half.
And that will do it.
And there you have it. So, with 28-0, it's Army leading in the first half. And this is probably a good time. Ross, tell us a little bit about, based on your history, what are you seeing? What are you liking? Are there improvements to be made on Army's side of the ball, or are we just going to continue to see more of what we've seen?
There are. A lot of the first games of the season, especially at home, we saw a lot more passing by Kyle West. And quite frankly, I don't think the run game was as prolific as Coach West would like. So I believe it was truly intentional by design to come into this game, get that ground game going. And I know Kyle is still confident in that pocket. So it's beautiful to see the development and the maturity of this offensive scheme. I know the offense has to be super thrilled. I know there's some secondary coverages they want to work on a little bit in that defense. But again, you can't really ask for a better first half of senior night here.
Yeah, not a lot of, not a lot working against them at this point. So really they're trying to go from very good to maybe near perfect in the second half. Put 28 on the board, and they looked methodical doing it. A couple of penalties that probably want to get cleaned up, and maybe they'll talk about that. But really only gave up one big play.
Exactly. Can't really ask much more than that. Again, even number of penalties per game compared to the beginning of the season, I believe, is significantly improved. I know Coach West is going to be really thrilled for this first half.
All right, folks, so we're going to go ahead and put the mics down, get a sip of water as the clock ticks down. You got about 18 and change before the teams are back. It's been an absolute pleasure being with you here on KnightVision on Army West Point Athletics YouTube. My name is Mike Eisenhart, and on behalf of the RPS team and Ross Graham, thank you so much for joining us in the first half. We'll be back in a few. Welcome back, sports fans. Welcome back, Army West Point Sprint football fans. With about 2.5 minutes left in the halftime, both teams have made their way back to the field. Once again, we're getting ready for the second half where Army leads 28 to St. Thomas Aquinas' 0. Joined with me in the booth is Ross Graham. Ross, we got the stats. What have you seen? What do you like? What do you not like? What needs to happen?
In the military, we like to talk about improves and we like to talk about sustains. A sustain, I know this offense wants to keep up, is 314 yards in the first half. Mind-boggling number to their defense holding St. Thomas Aquinas to only 67 yards. Beautiful. It doesn't really get any better than that. Something I've talked about in previous games, though, for an improvement holds true tonight as well. Third down efficiency, not exactly where Coach West wants his offense. Granted, they don't get in third down a lot, but that can be game changer in a close game down the season. So that's what I'm going to tell you. A thing that we're doing great on. I think the Black Knights are going to want to improve on.
Yeah, definitely some offensive stats that jump out at you. I mean, the running backs here for Army both looking real strong. 56 yards for Ross and 59 for Bolivar. But one thing that stands out for me is Bolivar on 6 attempts, so almost 10 yards per carry.
Definitely. That's what I kind of talked about beforehand. Last week, he averaged 11 yards a rush, and their defense gave up half a yard a rush. So there's nothing you really need to do fancy. You don't need to even draw up that many crazy plays. If your offensive rushing game is that successful, especially with Gabe Bolivar, you can virtually do anything you want on offense.
It's a credit to the guys up front making things happen, making the line move, but can't also ignore down the field. Mackey with almost 50 yards on 4 catches, and Williams almost 100 yards at 92 on 4 catches. So real good work there by the receiving corps.
Definitely, and those two receivers are very much two that complement one another. Kaysen's a guy, like I said, who's had a lot of tough catches in tight windows on the inside of the field, on the seams, whereas Parker's been able to get outside, get some big yards as our X receiver, they call it. So two guys who kind of play totally different positions in a way, but both really important for this offense.
On the defensive side of the ball, got to like seeing how many folks have tackles. I mean, it's really very well spread. It's not a one-person show at all. But Carter stands out with 5.
Yeah, I've mentioned his name a few times. Tyrus is one of the best on that defensive front line. Really, give or take, any of those defensive linemen have the ability to stand out at any given time.
And so the clock is reset. And once again, it's Cueto lining up to kick off for the Black Knights that will get this second half rolling. Army with a 28-0 lead, and they will get back to work with their defense. Aquinas once again shows 2 deep, and that could be Tugwell, but the ball goes to the other side of the field. It's a little mishandled, and that's going to buy Army some time to get down there and pressure it, and the tackle is made.
It's amazing how sometimes football is a game of seconds. Just in the 2 seconds it took you to drop that ball, you lost probably 15 yards of field position there, which is huge. So another time, St. Thomas Aquinas is going to come out pretty rough field position.
So the miscue by Harvey Jr. certainly sets the Aquinas offense back on its heels to start, but they'll try to dig themselves out and get rolling again.
Definitely, and we still see the base defense out there, the starters, the ones they call them. I hope to see as this half progresses, we'll get to see the 2s, the 3s, those underclass get to play more as well.
So Harp, the Aquinas quarterbacks, had a little bit of luck on the outside trying to get some sort of downfield passing, and looks like he's going to try to do it again. This one off into the flat, but it is absolutely smothered by the Army defense. That was number 13, Cruz, on the catch. And Army.
Zion Sims was the first one on that stop, hit him behind the line. Those screen passes have been successful, but they didn't have any other person to screen with him, so it was really just a stop route, 1 yard down, and the defense of the Black Knights is too quick to be fooled by that play. It's not going to bring up a long second down.
2nd and 14 for Aquinas.
Wind is really gusting out here. We can hear it in our mics.
And once again, looks to get out into the corner. This one not able to be pulled in. And so the pass is incomplete. And it'll bring up 3rd and 14.
This is when I think Coach Chessa brings the heat. This is when I see Ox. This is when I see Tyrus. This is when I see Golio. This is even when I see Cam Allen. I think Cam Allen in the first half was leading in tackles maybe for loss. This is whenever I'm Harp, I'm the QB, I say, okay, I got a big game to play, but I also have to know my field position and know the heat that's going to come.
So we'll see if they try to get it off quick. That's Honan in motion. And once again, the flag comes in. That could be another procedure call. It is. That's at least the 3rd at this point, maybe the 4th. And that's going to be something that the squad in white will be frustrated with and look to iron out.
It's going to be probably half the distance there.
So 3rd and 18 in real tough position is Aquinas. Honan out, in motion. Harp looks down. Questionable whether that catch was made. Looked to be trapped by Honan. And
looks like this back judge calls that incomplete, hit the turf there. So now they're punting it with a very short field.
So the question is this the moment that Arbogast has been waiting for? Will he get a shot at returning? I would think if you're Aquinas, you're hoping not.
I agree. I mean, America's quite literally standing on his plus 30-yard line. So if I'm Aquinas, for one, I don't kick it straight out in the line drive. That's never what you want to do as a punter. But if you can get it to go beyond his head, especially maybe to the left where there's more green grass, hopefully get a good Aquinas roll and at least flip the field position to some extent.
Here it is. Put some air under it this time. Arbogast is able to field. Takes it. Gains a few. And Army's offense will take over.
Due to the pressure of having to get that punt off so quickly, the ball went so high in the air. Merrick had all the time to recover that. Now they're knocking on the red zone and haven't even snapped the ball on offense yet. Assuming the Black Knights offense goes to plan, this might be the last offensive drive here for this starting group, which again, senior night for these offensive players. There's a lot of underclass on this team, but those seniors certainly do lead them well.
So West with Bolivar in the back. And the pitch out to Bolivar, who has some space and gains several. So keeping the average up, he gets the first down. And that's going to be now 1st and goal.
It's gotten to the point where it's rare to see Gabe even take contact before the first down marker.
1st and goal from the 7 is Army, who looks to get right back to work on the board. Again, the pitch. Bolivar dancing, looking. And that time, Aquinas is up for the challenge.
You pass again on the weak side. Since you're on the left hash, your option pitch there is on the weak side, which means there's more defenders and a more congested area. So good opportunity there for Aquinas to get a stop like they did there.
There's the handoff in motion. It's Mackey who gains a couple and gets them within 6, maybe 5.
I like that play call, coming back to the strong side of the field, giving it to your most elusive receiver there. Now it brings up 3rd and goal.
So it's 3rd and goal from the 4, and we'll see what kind of scheme Army brings. Bolivar still the lone back. With plenty of space out to the left. This time it's McFadden in motion. There's the pitch. Sees some space, gets the edge, and is in. Although some whistles, we'll see if There is a penalty on the play.
Might be coming back as a block in the back or a hold there on that side, but doesn't surprise me to see that play again.
Does look like potentially a block in the back, and so that is going to pull the touchdown back.
If you think about that play calling, though, it makes a lot of sense. Gabe had the 1-2 punch with those pitches. They brought it to Kaysen on the other side to open up the field again for a Gabe touchdown run. It just got wiped out, but the scheme is very well thought out, very well orchestrated there. Now they just have to bring the ball back for a longer touchdown try now.
Bolivar shifts. West looks to him, and that one's off the hand.
A little too hot there. Looks like we're going to get to see Nick's first field goal attempt of the night. Probably be about a 29-yard field goal, so nothing more than a chip shot here. Looks like it'll be a 30-yard attempt. And the wind has died down.
So Cueto lines up for the kick. McFadden to hold. Ball is placed. It's up. Looks like a hand is on it. And so Aquinas able to get the block and stifle the scoring drive for Army.
Give credit to Coach Berry's defensive unit. A lot of times I see field goal units good out there and sheepishly just stand along, give up, basically accept the field goal. But that was a lot of tenacity there and able to knock that ball down. And again, that was more rush and defensive aggression than you normally see on a field goal attempt, which proved to be beneficial for them as they were able to block that. Again, momentum they can use in their favor now. Granted, they're in their own 14-yard line, but granted, like I said, another opportunity to take advantage of a turnover.
So they'll be happy with the outcome, but certainly still plenty of distance to cover for Harp in the Aquinas offense. Now the pass over the middle. It's batted away by number 31, Mason Berrialt.
Great athleticism there by Mason. He had to catch back up to that receiver and come from behind, but he was able to extend his arms out, make a legal defensive play there, and swat that ball away.
So once again, Aquinas lines up at the 7, and it's going to have to try to get something going. Hamilton, the lone back. They look down to Honan, who makes the grab, but is tackled by a group of Black Knights, including
J.C. Romo was, Batson was there, you're right. J.C. Romo, I think, was the first guy to make that hit. Maybe I can't see. You're right, that was Batson. Trey Batson was the first guy there. Brought that route perfectly.
Impressively, Golio was all the way over there as well. So anytime you see that defensive interior lineman out in the flat, that's impressive downhill running by the defensive line.
Another one of those advantages of that sprint football weight requirement. Basically, any player can go anywhere on the field.
Harp rolls, now pulls up, looks to throw it, finds his receiver, met with a fierce tackle by Zion Sims. Was Nicholas Simonetta. Just a textbook tackle. Absolutely perfect position by Sims.
We're going to bring the punt unit back out. Merrick will get another chance to return this already on the Aquinas side of the field.
So about 5 minutes gone in the opening of the second half, but not a lot has happened in net. We've sort of seen a repeat of the first series, and Army will once again look to get back to work.
I want to give extra credit to Coach Sessa's defensive unit. A lot of times when an offense has a turnover, something like a blocked punt or a blocked field goal, that is, sometimes their defense kind of gets down, loses some motivation. But as we've seen, every time Aquinas has had a turnover, the defense has stepped up and played lights out. So great job then, again, there by the defensive unit.
So the flag on the field is assessed against Aquinas, and so they will go ahead and do it again.
You don't see that a lot on the kicking team. That's a bit of a miscommunication there. I can tell you on the field they're calling out, starting punt team, get ready, get ready. And so coaches don't like it when people aren't ready.
Now the kick. And Arbogast stops it there around the 40. So the Army offense gets back to work. And we'll start to keep an eye out whether or not we see some of those substitutions make their way on the field.
Looks like that starting O is going to maintain out there. Try to capitalize on this very short field position.
Ross in as the lone back. And there's a handoff to Ross. Changes of direction, gains a few. It'll be second down and maybe 4, maybe less.
Who would have thought you'd give the ball to JP Ross and he'd gain 8 yards? Sounds like every play, every time JP Ross has gotten the ball this season. Mr. Consistent.
And now West looks, has a man down the field. It is caught, and it is a touchdown.
That's Parker Williams, another touchdown reception. Another time he's wide open on the seam route. He's just simply quicker than the defensive backs. Kyle leads him perfectly and drops the ball right into his arms for him to make a touchdown grab.
Agree. That one was sort of saw it all the way, just got behind and threw a strike. Great job by West to find Williams again.
That was the last time we'll see these seniors here tonight on offense. I know they're going to go home tonight proud to play their second to last game here at senior night at Shea Stadium after a long 4 years of success. Then PA announcer said during senior night earlier they only had 3 total losses in their entire West Point careers. It's pretty impressive. Multiple wins over the midshipmen, multiple CSFL championships, 35-0 lead so far for these seniors. So Chance Pogue leads the offensive unit as a captain, a center, a leader, during practice, a leader on and off the field. So great time there for this offensive unit led by the Dirt Pigs offensive line coach Wick and then the entire rest of the offense as well.
So after adding 7 more, Army will kick off and look to get back to work. Call out some of these players on the special teams unit, including number 64, William Lewis, the freshman. Number 34, Reed Hisley, also the freshman. And number 43, which we do not have on the roster. I see Griffin Buss, the freshman as well, in 66. And they will get down there on that side of the field and try to make the hit. Ball switches fields and comes out around the other side. And it's the far end of the field that makes the tackle, just a little beyond the 20.
Freshman John Belville on that far side of the defensive coverage right there near the play. Another one of those freshman linebackers, uber talented, is just simply waiting behind a host of other talented upperclassmen, but like you said, a lot of talent on that kickoff unit.
So the ball's on the 20. It's a 1st and 10 for Aquinas. Once again, deep in their own territory to start.
Starting defense maintains out there for another drive here for Coach Sess's defense.
And Harp looks down the field. Good defensive effort there, able to keep his hands in position and stop the pass.
Trey Batson, he's been probably the most targeted defensive back covering the most difficult receivers for Aquinas. He's played tremendous all night. Might not even show up in the stat sheet, but it's got to be 4, 5, 6 plays, deep passes that he's successfully defended tonight.
So a 2nd and 10 at the 20. Harp looks again, trying to find somebody, stretching it down the field. That one in good position, almost picked off. Just couldn't pull it in. Is Berrialt.
Double coverage there by the corner and the safety duo of J.C. Ross, Mason Berrialt. 2 great players on that defense, but yeah, it's just barely out of the arms of Mason Berrialt in that one.
Classic work by the safety, going up and trying to catch it at its highest point. Just couldn't quite bring it in. And once again, Aquinas shows Honan in the backfield. And this time, well, we'll see what the call is there. It looked like Army had the sack. The ball sort of squirted out to the side, maybe an attempt.
I think that's what they're going to call it. I think they're just going to rule it having dead, wrapped up the quarterback there. They don't usually wait until the quarterback is thrown onto the ground. So I believe they're just going to leave that one as a sack.
And that is a sack for the gents up front. Good work by them to get down there and get their hands on Harp.
The story of this West Point defense has really been keeping Aquinas within really their own 20-yard line, I'd say, for the majority of the night, which is just impossible because you can't run your regular offensive play calls. You're having to play protections that you don't normally want to. It's just been a great job by the West Point defense.
Kick is up. It's Arbogast who takes it. This time looks to have a little space, slips through another, and brings it back to about the 20.
Special teams coaches don't appreciate very much whenever the returner gets a line drive directly into his arms. Because if he's going to catch it, you at least want the ball to go super high in the air. So it takes a long time, so you let your kickoff coverage have a chance to go make a play. But you're setting the offense up for the best play scenario when you kick it right into their arms. It's harder said than done, but a good opportunity there for Merrick to gain some solid yards like he just did.
And it looks like we do see some changes here on the offense. I see Jeff Ryder in at the quarterback. And looks immediately.
That's Cyrus, I believe, on that
to Cyrus, yes.
Yarp Eshkon, his #1 receiver, he likes to play with on this #2 unit. Jeff, the sophomore quarterback, super talented, super great guy. Alongside his fellow running back there, 49.
Is Brooke, Coleman Brooke. And who gets the ball, goes out to the right, squares it up, and gains a few more. So once again, our Army already in a threatening situation, and they are ready to go just about again.
That second offensive line unit, you got Bridger Cloninger, Joshua Estep. I'm sorry, Declan Estep, that is, Jake Vineyard, Josh Agris, and Ryan Benedict.
Ryder looks, scrambles, thinking about it, takes it himself, looks to get to the corner, not quite able to get the edge, and is wrapped up by Hamilton.
Good athleticism there by Jeff. That's the guy who wasn't on the team a year ago. He decided, hey, let's try you out in the spring during their spring ball season. Coach West says, okay, you got a good arm. Let's see how well you do. And so it's fun to see when he gets to come in on the second half of these games and show off his talent.
Keeper scrambles forward, and the spot looks to be about 3 off, maybe less. 4th and 1, the board shows. We'll see. That brings a flag, possibly a procedure there on Army. Looks like maybe they released before the snap.
It's one of those times I think everyone really moved except for the center. Just a little bit of miscommunication there with the hard count. It's going to bring the ball back 5 yards.
So the false start brings up 4th and 6. We'll see if that changes anything. So far, it does not appear to. Ryder rolls to the right, looks, throws it in, and that one adds 6 more. I did not catch who caught that, but the result is the same, bringing it up to 41.
Great throw and catch there. Great reception. That was Cyrus Yarpes-Eshgon, I believe.
Looked like Yarpes-Eshgon, the 81, so congratulations there to Cyrus, who puts 6 more on the board.
At first glance, people might say, hey, it's a 35-point lead. Why are you going for it on 4th down? Why not settle for the field goal? But in reality, settling for a field goal, you're just giving yourself the 3 points you don't need. Rather, the coach's mindset says, hey, I've got a young quarterback. I've got a tough 4th down situation. I want them to grow through this adversity. Let's give them another chance. It doesn't really matter about the points. It matters about the growing and the lessons. So good job there by Jeff, able to capitalize on that 4th down play, put a touchdown on the board, the first points of the game for that second offensive unit.
Yeah, it's a great point. Ryder really looked calm there, rolled, and just threw an absolute strike. So can't argue with that, and probably feels real good about it.
Something a lot of people may not know also, with West Point, everyone's taking at least 18 credit hours, probably closer to 21. Like, funny, last time we were at a away game in our hotel, it's the night before the game. Everyone's doing their film, their preparations, their recovery. I walk next door, and Jeff's cranking out his engineering homework with my roommate there. So it's one of those challenges a West Point cadet has that not a lot of other college students have is, yeah, you can go spend a few days and play your away game, but you still got that engineering homework. Those officers in charge of your class are like, okay, get it done. So it's really fun to see the development that all these guys make academically in their leaderships in their military, but also obviously playing football here.
You would never know it looking from the outside. They appear to be well in command of what's happening on the field as Cueto gets us started again and drives it deep. That's 13 crews on the take. And plenty of black jerseys there to make the stop. Among them was number 66, Griffin Buss.
Here comes defensive unit number 2 for the first time tonight. Led a large part by that junior linebacker 44, George Donahue. I had already mentioned John Belville's name earlier, 29. 96 there, Nick Aramita playing nose there. A whole host of fresh faces for that Black Knight unit. They get the development time, but also that St. Aquinas offense that's tired is now facing 11 fresh bodies.
Yeah, fresh legs for sure. Aquinas shows Hamilton once again as the lone back. Nope, check that. Looks like they brought in Honan as well. Honan leaves. Ball goes to the other side of the field. The catch is made, but no yards after the catch because the ball is low. That is number 10, Wilhite on the catch.
It's 33, Otto Leone, that defensive back on that coverage there. Another guy checking in, number 1, Jared Bosarge, at a defensive spot there, defensive back.
2nd and 1, the pitch to Honan. Flag on the play. We'll see where the flag comes from, but given the position, could be a holding call.
That pitch there pretty much epitomizes the last second toss. He was essentially halfway down to the ground when he threw that pitch. Huge hit there, but successful pitch. We'll see barring the flag here.
That one does look to be holding, and it's going to bring the ball back.
Among that defensive line there, able to get the hit there on the QB. 54, Trey McCardell. 52, Sam Curtis. Number 6, Joe Sobeski. And like I mentioned earlier, 96. My neighbor down the hall, actually, my barracks, Nick Aramita, a great guy there. The linebackers, Hissel, French, and Donahue I'd mentioned, and John Belfield playing some time also.
So Aquinas is pushed back to a 2nd and 11 situation, and now they're going to have to try to get some go forward, as we say. Now they look to the corner, the push off, the catch. And the referee says that one is okay.
Those are always tough. We got an injury timeout, but in the second, those are always tough, like you said. There was certainly offensive push-off, but what we probably didn't see 2 steps prior to that was some defensive push-off. So there's always fighting back and forth. It's really only going to be called when it's exaggerated to an extreme. It's pretty much always going to be called against a defense when they don't turn their head back and look at the receiver there, but I'd say that was a lot of friendly fighting there. The offense just got the best of them on that one.
So the catch made by Eric Neal Jr. brings the ball to the 48 in a 1st and 10 situation, but player from Aquinas getting a little attention from the training group, and that gives us a moment to take a break. Good time to shout out our crew here tonight. With me in the booth on the switchboard is Chris O'Brien, and on the replay, Brian Ahern. On the cameras, both Nelson and Kevin out in the cold at West Point. And of course, with me in the booth here is Ross Graham. Many thanks to all of them for coming out and being a part of our crew tonight and allowing us to bring you this game on Army Night Vision. So Aquinas will come back to the field. Whistles are sounded, and the ball at the 48 with a 1st and 10 situation. Harp and Honan in the backfield. And once again, looks to be a reverse. And now off to Harp. So a little trickery there by the Aquinas crew, and they are able to get a big gain, bring the ball to the 25.
That was deceiving even to me. I was following the QB. I was like, where is he going? Why is he running like that? I didn't realize it was a end-around flea flicker type situation, so you even fooled me there. Good job, Aquinas. It's a beautiful play there. I love to see those trick plays.
Keeping it exciting is Aquinas, and this is by far their best field position of the night.
Certainly.
Ball at the 28. And now Harp rolls out. Finds his receiver, Simonetta, who slips after the catch.
That was George Donahue, my cadet field training buddy from this last summer, who made that stop there. And John Belfield, a fellow Firehouse plebe that is with me on that pressure there. Now bringing up 2nd down and 10. This is a great chance for this second unit. A lot of plebes, a lot of freshmen on this team having to deal with the starting O of a opponent here, trying to prevent them from getting a touchdown here. A good developmental opportunity for the second defensive unit of the Black Knights.
Ball out, flag on the play, and it is dropped. Fumble looks to be recovered by Army. We'll see what the call is.
That's Nick Aramita, the first Black Knight to jump on that ball. Looks like it's probably going to be some sort of illegal formation called against St. Thomas Aquinas, which of course will be declined there. So like I just said, Black Knights need to deal with this adversity. Well, hey, you just got the ball handed right to you. Good heads-up play by that defensive lineman, Nick Aramita, to jump on that ball and give now Jeff Ryder his second drive here of the night.
So Army takes over after the fumble recovery on the 31, and the offense will get back to work.
They wave off that penalty. It's like nothing even happened. So here we see the number 2 unit here, offense coming back out. Stephen Craig there, one of the receivers with Cyrus out there as well, as we see Jeff come back out to lead this offense. And Doug Jarvie, running back, freshman in.
And he breaks one. That is Jarvie, who gains enough for the first down. And unfortunately, it looks like we've got another player who's going to need some attention from the training staff.
That run, Jarvie ran right behind center Ryan Jerry Benedict. Now, something you don't see a lot of teams is how many offensive players can go back and try to help out the defensive player who's hurt. You know, West Point preaches selfless service and others above self. So it's cool to see Ryan there trying to help out the players when they're down, and now they get to huddle back up to plan their next offensive play.
So Army looking the part of a championship team. Certainly we know the history is there. So far, based on what you've seen this season, what are your thoughts? Does this team have the makings of another one?
It's been beautiful to watch the development of this team from the very first game at CHC with pretty rough conditions, a more challenging game than they want. They kind of got punched in the face a few times that they didn't really want to, but it's been beautiful to see West Point grow as a team, as a cohesive unit since then. It's been as beautiful of execution as you can really ask for. They go on the road next week in Mansfield, Pennsylvania, that is, and then the following week host Annapolis. So all things going to plan. Should be an Army-Navy rivalry game. Conclusion of the regular season, but also the de facto championship game as well.
Sounds pretty good if you're an Army fan.
It's always good to be in the championship game. It's always good to face the Squids. It's always good to beat the Squids, Mike.
So good news, the Aquinas player is up and making his way off the field. Looks to possibly be an ankle or a calf, and so hopefully he's okay. And the Army offense will get back to work on their 46.
Definitely chilly temperatures out there. Like we said, the wind's been pretty brutal all night. Your muscles have a hard time when you've been warming up and they get fatigued, but they're also cold from halftime. And so those muscle contractions get crazy. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of cramping out there. The players staying warm, though, hydrating to keep their bodies healthy through the rest of the night, the rest of the season as well.
And so Ryder back at the helm. Hands it off. And once again, it's Jarvie making the meters. Yards. Apologies.
Another gain of 9 there. Great to see them running along that left side there with Bridger and Jake Vineyard, that is on the left side of that offensive line, getting key blocks 2-3 yards down the field to let Jarvie pick up a big gain.
Clock continues to tick. About 1:20 left here in the third quarter. Ryder looks him off, and now the pass. And once again, that's his partner there, number 81, Yarpazuskin. Hand off to Jarvie. Gains a couple and is met with some contact. So a gain of maybe 4 makes it 2nd and 6 on the 30 as the clock continues to tick and Army continues to march toward the touchdown.
Colin Teschke, Braden Williams, among other receivers in the game in that second offensive unit as well.
Once again, it's Jarvie, this time out to the right, breaks the first one, big contact, bulls over for another, and that's real close to a first down, less than a yard.
That time running behind Declan and Josh. Josh, that right tackle there, shout out, Halloween birthday man today. So it's always fun to play on your birthday. It's always fun to have a Halloween birthday. So shout out Josh, that right tackle there. Good block there. Celebrating on his birthday as well as we conclude our third quarter here.
So that's it for the third quarter. We now move to the fourth quarter and quick break here while they regroup. That was a first down, and so it'll be 1st and 10 on the 23 for Army. So the offense makes its way back after the quick break. 15 on the clock, the final 15. Ball on the 23. And Ryder and Jarvie in the backfield.
Alex Prescora, the freshman, split out to our far side as well, checking into the game.
And now the official signal and things begin to roll. Here comes the blitz. Ryder able to handle the ball and gain 1, maybe 2. So that backside blitz comes in by number 5. Hence, who makes the tackle.
Good adapting there by Jeff. It was a high snap and the defensive end was coming there untouched. So good job just to get back to the line of scrimmage there.
This time the pressure from the front. He's able to find the receiver, who gains 4, maybe 5.
Cyrus Yarpazeshkan is #1 guy there again, bringing up now a 3rd down and medium. Now inside the red zone for the 2nd time with this offensive unit number 2.
Aquinas once again looks to bring the pressure. And here it comes. Ryder looks down into the corner, has a man open, and that one is going to be a touchdown.
Braden Jones, sophomore receiver, number 80. I think that was probably very similar to the play Parker Williams scored on in that first half. You have your inside route there on that right side of the field running a quick hitch. The outside receiver is untouched. No one's even guarding him. Good eyes there by Jeff. Good pass, perfectly placed. Good concentration there by Braden to get that touchdown reception.
So Cueto on to grab the extra point. McFadden holds, and it is good. So with a score line of 49-0, Army continues to churn forward with Braden Jones's touchdown.
Mike, I'm a big stats guy. I love thinking about football analytics. Makes me excited and just thinking about it. So I happen to have here some stats for the season. Like I said, West Point's looking to extend to 6-0. And not only would that make them 6-0, that would make their offensive points to defensive points allowed 243 to 37 on the season.
That is significant. If you're a stats guy, let's say that's significant. So once again, it's Tugwell and Cruz ready to receive the Cueto kick. And this time it's going to be Cruz. Flag is on because that one made its way off the field. And so the penalty will be assessed.
Good awareness there to let that ball go out of bounds. Give him significantly better starting field position. Another defensive back checking in is number 37 for the Black Knights.
So Aquinas takes over the 35 with 13:48 to play. And now, new quarterback in. That's number 28, Jones Allen, who scrambles out to the right.
As the final minutes tick down in this game, it's fun to see all the subs that get to play for the Black Knights. As we see on the sideline, we got Max, the freshman, warming up at quarterback, probably getting to come in to let the third offensive unit come in for the Black Knights next drive. But overall, a very successful game that really just culminates a very successful season the Black Knights have been having all year.
So it's Damani Jones Allen, the sophomore QB, in for Aquinas, who steps, looks to scramble, but big pressure coming in by a couple of the Black Knights, including number 96.
Nick Aramita recovered a fumble earlier and made that stop there. Big impact player coming in the second unit here in the second half of the Black Knights. Big stop there.
3rd and 12, ball in the 33. And Jones Allen sets up again. Harvey Jr. also in the backfield. And that one may have gone a little too long. Could be a delay of game. And that's what it is. So unfortunately for Aquinas, they just let that one roll a little too long, and we're on the wrong side of the clock. And so they'll be pushed back into a 3rd and 17 situation.
It's hard for offenses when you make subs. The referees have to allow the defense, the officials have to allow the defense to make subs. Sometimes that doesn't give you any time to make any adjustments, though. And like we saw there, a delay game.
Now Jones Allen comes around, but he's got pressure, and all over him is Sebeski. So another sack for the Black Knights, drops the ball deep and into the Aquinas territory. 4th and 26, ball in the 19.
There's nothing these Black Knight players like to see better than their brothers out there making huge defensive stops there. It hypes up the whole team. Even though it's cold, even though it's a Friday night, it's always fun. The team gets hyped when you see plays like that. As Merrick Arbogast gets back to return another punt here.
Here's the kick. Arbogast fields, and that's going to be held right there. So, fair catch brings it to the 50. And it's 1st and 10 right at midfield for the Army Black Knights.
It looks like we are going to get QB number 3 in the game now. The freshman. His name is Max. He's got a great arm, great instincts. Be fun to get to see him come out and play now.
So Sinkovic, the freshman from Tempe, Arizona, takes over. And we'll see what Army can bring. Shows and then takes it himself and gains a few.
Running right behind the interior line there with Declan, his step there. Ryan Benedict providing huge holes for Max Sinkovich to run through.
Here's the handoff. And driving on is number 26, Devion Johnson, the Evanston, Illinois running back and plebe.
Johnson has a lot of running backs he runs behind, but I tell you, that guy has more drive and energy than almost anyone else.
1st and 10, ball in the 36. The look off now, scramble, but this time Aquinas there and ready to make the stop.
That play right there is exactly why you let your young players play. That was a challenge there. Do you keep it? Do you hand the ball off? Do you throw it out? Do you have a quick route you could throw to Cyrus? It's one of those hard ones. How do you really know what to do in that situation? And you can watch the film all you want. You can watch other players all you want, but it's game time experience like this that's going to make you better.
Now the handoff. Some running room. And over the 30 goes Johnson. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 3. And the Black Knights will get back to it. Once again, the handoff to Johnson. And he's going to square up and get the first. And then a little bit more.
That's Colin Teschke and Blake McKenna, the wide receivers on this near sideline. Good downfield blocking. Dane LaGrasse as well. Critical there to let Johnson pick up that first down, even though they're not actively running a route.
Johnson to the other side. Steps in. Continues to drive and turns it into something, maybe brought it back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard positive. It was Conti on the tackle. And now Jarvie enters the game, re-enters the game. Clock continues to tick. 8:10. And this time it's Jarvie. Slips through one, squares up and drives on, brings the ball to about the 11.
Mike, it's really at the point where if you get less than 6 yards on a carry, it's rare for the Black Knight offense. Another gain there of 7, maybe 8 by Jarvie. He stays in there with Max to his side on this now short 3rd down play.
Spot the ball on the 12. It's 3rd and 3. Now, once again, it's Jarvie, who's hitting the backfield but continues to churn. And then met by a gang from St. Augustine. Augustine. I keep wanting to say it.
Here's another one of those opportunities. It's 4th and short in a normal situation. This is field goal. But I like that Coach West lets his young players battle through this adversity, see how they're going to handle this 4th down play.
Sinkovic rolls. Looking. Has the catch. And that should be a first down.
The line judge here calls that one incomplete, saying it hit the ground. So
unfortunate for Teschke, who looked like he had it from here.
Colin got his body on top of that. Maybe if we had a replay, we could overturn that, but not in this league. So for now, it's going to be overturned. But good awareness there by Collins to get open. Good job by Max threading the needle to put that pass exactly where it needed to be. Just unfortunate to come up incomplete on this now. 7 minutes to go.
So we did see the replay on the screen. Good call by the folks on the field. It slipped past my eye, but it was an incomplete pass.
I think maybe it's also good on the receiver, if you're not going to catch it, maybe dive on top of the ball, if the ref can't see, But yeah, you're right. From our eyes, it looked good, but
keep the refs on their toes.
Yes. So we got refs from every angle to be able to see everything.
So once again, it's Jones Allen who will lead. And that looked to be a jump, and there's the flag. Fortunately, it looked like Augusti took off here in the near part of the screen. Not sure if someone else moved. And that's exactly what the call is.
That reminds me of the Canadian Football League rules. In regular American football, only one guy's allowed to go in motion. In CFL, you can have as many guys going in motion, all those receivers can go just as long as they don't cross the line of scrimmage before the ball snap. That's what that play reminded me of. It's adds a little bit more excitement to the game, you know? Just wanted to get a head start, but fortunately, we're in the great country of America right now.
Augusti was eager to try to get the jump on number 33, Leone. Now Jones Allen, and he is hit in the backfield, possibly a safety coming.
I think that was Joe Sobeski, maybe the first guy to hit them. We're going to give him forward progress, though, where he was first hit at the 2.5-yard line, though, before he was dragged back.
Sobeski drives him back, but the ball will be placed on the 2. And now the difficult gets near impossible, 2nd and 21.
Pre-snap penalties bring you back, and then you let the elusive, powerful defensive front get even more powerful with the long yards to gain, as we see, probably bringing more of the house here again on this long play.
Unfortunately, more flags on the play, and the hard count forces the squad in white to jump. We'll see what the official call is. I did not see any of the Black Knight players jump into the space, so I would think it's a delay of game. So they've missed the window again, unfortunately, on the play clock, and so half the distance to the goal.
You know, people talk about how challenging being a quarterback in the NFL is, in the SEC, any of those things. Quarterback in general is challenging for so many reasons. Something people don't talk about a lot, like I've mentioned. How do you make sure your offense is set? How do you make sure the play clock's going? How do you read the defense? How do you make audibles on the line? How do you know what the play is going? How do you identify the mic? How do you know where the rush is coming from? So, super challenging. That's why they get paid a lot of bucks in the NFL, but got to give credit to the Aquinas team here.
Play clock down to 3. Now the ball is snapped. Jones Allen takes it himself and just works toward the edge and gains maybe 1. So just trying to get out of the most dangerous space there and maybe clear some room for another play. It's 3rd and 19. Ball will be spotted on the 4 with about 5:20 ticking down.
The Black Knight sideline calls this money down. They always chant, hoop and holler on the third down as their money down. This is a big money down here. Chance for them to earn their money on this one, but if you hear on our sideline mic, you can hear the players as they call out this third down play.
Means the wide out here in the near side. Jones Allen rolls, almost catches it in the flat, and that's number 83, Tyler Datz.
Joe Sobeski was there. He had his arms on the quarterback, just unable to make that tackle in the end zone. It's going to bring up now 4th down and 12. We'll see another punt return for Merrick Arbogast.
Sobeski could feel his jersey. He sort of was right there, hands just about on, looking for another sack, but Jones Allen able to just get the ball out and gain a few. Still a very difficult situation. 4th and 12, ball in the 11. So they'll look to get the ball away from Arbogast. Pressure comes. Fake punt. Now the ball is up. And that one goes right out.
Curious if that was a design fake punt or if that was just see what happens, but interesting play there. I was thinking he could have maybe got that until the defense reacted, but
yeah, it looked almost like it was an option. Sort of rolled out to the right, had to make a decision there, and then decided to put it on his foot.
It did look like that there. Now, in my experience, when I've seen punters running like that, though, they usually don't get much depth into their punt. Like that one went really high. It barely even got a first down. Usually the special teams coaches don't like it if you don't even punt for a first down. So it was an option there. Option was prevented by the Black Knight defense, and now Max has as good a field position as you can ask for.
There's the handoff. Slicing through with a big gain is number 49. That's Cole Brook.
I love seeing all 5 of the Black Knight running backs get to take snaps in and out, compliment one another, cheer each other on, give each other advice. All of them have been successful tonight.
Once again, Brooke, very close to the first down. We'll see where the spot is. It looks like he is able to get it. So first down, ball on the 12. Once again, Sinkovic calls for it. Now the pitch. Again, it's Brooke. Rolls off one. Now drives to get in. And does so.
Touchdown. Great
So,
spin move there.
Army able to bring the score to 55 on the Brooke spin move.
Doesn't get much happier than that to see your third string players get a touchdown on the board. It's their developmental time. It's their time to learn, to grow, to watch defenses in real life, in real time. But hey, who doesn't like putting some points on the board?
Cueto back on, about 3 minutes exactly on the board. Looks to bring it to 56, and does.
Three minutes now left in this game. Just about ready to put the finishing bow with finishing touches on this game as Nick Cueto will come back out for one last kickoff.
And so the kick team makes their way onto the field. Once again, Aquinas back to receive.
I've mentioned it a little bit. November 8th, West Point plays at Mansfield in Pennsylvania, their final road game of the year before they host arch rival Navy, also undefeated on the year, back at Shea Stadium, November 15th. Afternoon game to wrap up the season.
So it's Tugwell and Dats in the back. And we'll see which side Cueto brings the ball to. It's Dats who takes it at about the 5, brings it up to the 20, and then is hit solidly. A little bit of a scuffle there on the field, but it was Leone on the tackle.
Don't want to let your tempers flare here in 3 minutes left of the game. It's emotional. Everyone's tired. The adrenaline's wearing off. People are getting frustrated, a little trippy, but at the end of the day, you just want to close this game off. Go eat your post-game meal. Enjoy your Halloween evening or whatever else people like to do on the evenings of October 31st, and then enjoy this senior night. Lots of families here who came to cheer on their firsties' final senior night.
Jones Allen breaks away from one, looking, and then is absolutely clobbered out of bounds. That was Lassard and friends on the tackle. So Jones Allen gains about 1 on the keeper. And Aquinas gets back to work. Army shows blitz. And once again, it's Jones Allen looking. Slings it out, really well defended. That is Reed Hisley, who absolutely comes through and makes a brilliant play on the pass to the flat.
Now it looks like it's going to be the 2-minute timeout here. 1:58 to go in this fourth quarter. Before we put an end to this successful night on the banks of the Hudson River at Shea Stadium at West Point.
So the final 2 minutes queued up. Army's defense on the field. Aquinas with a 3rd and 9 on the 23. However, I will say that the last time Army took over with a minute 55, they marched down the field and scored. So potentially still some fireworks to be had here.
True. However, I don't think we'll be pulling out our 2-minute offense plays if we get the ball back. I think it's going to be a content to run the clock out situation. But you're right. It would be fun to see Max pull out his 2-minute offense, but
fair point at 56 now.
I think for sportsmanship reasons, that's not what we're going to do as
probably a safe bet. So Jones Allen back. Looks like with him is Harvey Jr. Looks to the right, now to the screen. It's Harvey Jr. with the ball. And a monstrous collision there over the front, led by Lassard.
It's fun to see this third-team defense play against that screen because in practice, they are the scout team defense, and they ran that play on repeat this week. And the offense faced that team on repeat, so they know that play like the back of their hand. I've seen that play 100 times this week, so unsurprising for them to get such a great stop there.
So a big gust here on our Halloween night at Shea Stadium, and the punt team comes on for Aquinas. Arbogast again, the deep man. And Aquinas looks to let the clock tick down. And now the snap. Kick is up. And it's over the head of Arbogast. And so Aquinas comes down and touches it down. So with 43 seconds left to play, ball on the 41-yard line, Army will take over and more than likely just kill the clock.
Look to see 2 quick knees on the ground. Clock runs out. Teams go shake each other's hands. And then they go celebrate their senior night with a nice 56-0 victory.
It's been a strong showing on the night honoring the firsties, senior night here at Shea Stadium, and certainly think the team in black is going to have plenty to be proud of. And there's the first one. Clock will tick down and run. And there'll need to be another one because there's more than 30 seconds on the clock.
You see, when you have your home field advantage there, you can wait to start your play clock until the game clock gets under the play clock. So I don't think they actually have to snap another one.
Maybe you don't have to get it done.
A little bit of a clock manipulation there. But hey, we get to go home 30 seconds earlier.
No one's going to argue with it, and the teams make their way off. And so there you have it as the final seconds click away at 56-0. It's Army with the win over St. Thomas Aquinas. On behalf of the whole crew here at Shea Stadium and Army West Point KnightVision, thank you so much. Ross, it's been great being with you. Appreciate your commentary and keeping us up to speed on the squad. Good luck on future games, and go Army.
Be Navy.
Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave it there. Have a great rest of the night. Happy Halloween.